So one of the topics in 2025 essay paper was the supreme art of war is to subdue your enemy without fighting. Let's talk about this a little bit. I'll tell you my thoughts. I'll give you the ingredients that you need to write this essay, not just give you a model answer, because that's not the right thing to do, right? You must write your own essay. You must think about the topic critically. Only then will you be able to create something that is powerful. It talks about the supreme art of war, right? Art of war to hai hi, but it says supreme art of war is to subdue your enemy without fighting. So definitely it's talking about force. More than force is talking about restraint, intellect, insight, foresight. How do we understand the nuances of the conflict that's going on, the strengths and weaknesses of the enemy, our own strengths and weaknesses, so self-awareness, awareness of context, and we get to a resolution without fighting. So this is strategic nature of leadership or conflict resolution. War is not necessarily an armed conflict in this essay. It can happen in any dimension. A war being fought inside your own head, war being fought between friends, relatives, between companies, conflicts of different nature like racial conflicts, gender conflict. There's so many wars being fought on so many different levels that you should not constrain yourself only to armed conflict. So think of it. What is Sukti? Supreme is something that sits above everything else, right? That is the fundamental thing. That is the core. That is the zenith. That is the best possible solution. Supreme, right? And it's commands over all kinds of other things that exist. So supreme art of war. So this was said by Sun Tzu. I hope you know Sun Tzu, 500 BCE, roughly Chinese political strategist, war strategist, from his book Art of War. What struck me the first time I read it is he says if you want to win the war, you have to set the battlefield. And remember, he did not say that you have to know the battlefield. He says you have to set the battlefield. That got me thinking that this person is talking about how to engineer the conflict itself in order to win the conflict. If you want to win the conflict, it's not just necessary or it's not just essential to have a great force and go there with arms and ammunition and every word, every response that you need for every reaction. You need to set the conflict itself. So almost like you're the mastermind, you're setting the conflict, you're setting the people, you're figuring out the place, you're figuring out the time, you're figuring out the strengths and weaknesses, almost like what Krishna did in Mahabharata. That is what Sun Tzu says. So that really struck me. And this is exactly what this essay is all about, that strategic nature of conflict. What is the nature of this essay? Is it descriptive? Is it argumentative? Is it persuasive? I don't think it tugs at my heart. It's not necessarily an emotional call to action. It makes me think, right? So I ruled out persuasive because although there is an element of persuasion in it, you could say that there is national security, international peace. There is some persuasion, but I thought it is a little more on the descriptive side, not really argumentative. There's no two positions about this thing, slightly more descriptive than persuasive. You could take it either way. You could write it in a persuasive way as well as in a descriptive way. I would lean slightly more towards descriptive. That's the nature of the topic. Let's discuss the tone. The tone, is it inspirational? Is it analytical? Is it reflective, introspection? I think it to me it seemed more reflective, introspective, analytical, that sort of essay than inspirational moment or pure reason. I think it tugs at my mind more than it tugs at my heart. So that is the tone of the topic. Implied wisdom or underlying themes. Let's talk about that. This essay, I think, talks about restraint, talks about being strategic, having insight, foresight, context awareness, strategic versus tactical. Those are the forces at play. Force versus restraint, um, wisdom, intellect over force. Another great example, like Sun Tzu, is Chanakya. All right, Chanakya's perspectives to Chandragupta Maurya, how he used intellect to actually rule a large part of then India, is something that you can definitely quote in this essay. You don't need to connect current affairs to each and every essay, but this one begs it. There is so much conflict out there in the world that it will be a shame if you don't link this essay with those going on. So definitely talk about tariff wars, for example, wars that fought at all levels, not just armed conflicts. As I said, conflicts in Asia, conflicts in Europe, in the Middle East. So those were the broad themes. I covered the nature, the tone, the implied wisdom, underlying values, and current affairs. So this sort of gives you the core of what this essay is. I'll invite you all to join our Telegram channel where we do roughly 2 essay topics a week. We also cover many other techniques of writing and developing your critical thinking, which is essentially what is tested in essay writing paper. It's more to do with thinking than actual writing. The writing comes later, the thinking comes first. Stay tuned and bye for now.